righty, man. What a intro video. Wow. If that doesn't get you pumped up, nothing will. I hear the dirt in Vegas is about like a beach, so we will see. So, y'all, it's an exciting night. We're back live, and we're going to talk about another amazing event that is just around the corner, and that is the Team Associated Vintage Off-Road Championships that's being held in Las Vegas. I hear if you're holding a race with Craig that it has to be in Vegas because nobody wants to remember what happened. So with me tonight, two of my buddies from Team Associated, Craig Drescher. If y'all don't know Craig, in my opinion, probably one of the most famous pictures of all time in RC history is with Ken Wald on his shoulders holding that big trophy, right?
That's the one, yes. Hi, Dirk. How are you doing?
Good, man. All the way from the UK, just so y'all know. Craig is a trooper. It's 12 a.m. over there right now. So
it is.
Craig,
it is.
Thank you.
Good.
And then we have Mr. Sonny, Michael Wortel. Did I say that right, Michael?
Wortel, but it wasn't Wortel.
Wortel.
You know what? Don't feel bad. Richard Saxton, my mentor at AE, one of my best buddies, messes up my last name constantly. So don't worry. He set the bar low for getting it right.
Okay. All right. Wortel. I got you, buddy. I'm gonna get that right, or I can just call you Mike. Magic Mike, I think, should probably be your nickname.
There we go.
I'll dance around me of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, guys, this is exciting. This is our, the first episode to really, I know that we've had another one, and just so y'all know, there's going to be a series. It's going to be once a week. We're going to shoot for Wednesdays. There'll be one with me, and then there'll be some that we're doing from the corporate headquarters in sunny California at Team Associated. And, we're really going to talk through this race, build it up, and man, what a treat. Just hearing and seeing the events, I'm stoked. So we want to do a few things tonight. Michael is going to talk about the rules. He's going to quiz Craig and I a little bit on the rules and different things. And then we're also going to show y'all where you can find information on the race. So we're going to do a little tutorial of that. And we're going to kick this off and we're going to do it right. And before we know it, October is going to be here and we're all going to be hanging together in Vegas.
Woo! Good times. I think for me, that video, it just when I was a kid, it just takes me right back to when I was 10 years old. So straight away, I see that goosebumps come on my arms and I just remember everything, them feelings, that kind of fun aspect. Everything was kind of new and exciting. So for me, obviously the nostalgia, like yourself, Dirk, as well, is it's so important for this event and for the whole vintage community, really. So kicking off with that video kind of sets the tone for me nicely. And then obviously hosting the race in Vegas, we've just revealed the venue, which just looks incredible. I mean, that's something on another planet, really. Yeah. So it's you kind of get a feel already for kind of what's to come, which is really kind of playing into our hands as being a fun race, which I guess is ultimately what we're all after. Just a little bit of fun, get together, reminisce, talk about the good old times, do a little bit of racing on an old school track, which I guess we'll get down to as well. But yeah. For me, it's just it feels like it's coming now, which is good. So I'm excited.
Yeah, so we're doing something a little, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, but we're doing something a little different than we've really done in the U.S. before. We're really kind of bringing the rules that have been very, very successful from the UK over from Australia, which they're kind of, you'll see, there's a lot more breakdown in the cars to try to keep cars together that belong together. And a lot of those races have been more about fun, hanging out, not serious racing. But don't get me wrong, we're going to have world champions that y'all have been dying to meet at this event.
Yeah.
Coming from very, very far, right? Craig being one of them, right? Coming over and so you're right. It's going to be very awesome to be on the Lumi Dirt again. And hey, I can promise you this: we will not be running slicks at this race.
No, that's
unless you're a little wild.
Good old fashioned hole shots, I'm guessing. I mean, obviously,
probably. J Concept's getting ready to release some new pin tires as well. They already have them in the 1.7 and 1.9 style, but they're getting ready to release a 2.2 as well. So those will be right around the corner, and we will have Jason on in the future to talk a little bit about tires. So y'all got time. You still got time to get tires. We will definitely make sure you are in the loop on what tires to get and what's going to work best for sure.
So before we kick it off to Dirk, who's going to take you a little bit of workflow just to find out how to sign up, where you currently access our rules on our site right now. I just wanted to start out with a group of special things, because as everyone knows, compiling a rules list like this, a vehicles list, it's not a one-man job. Trust me, there was almost like no doubt little arguments and fights that went into this, but we had a committee of everyone helping out. So want to get a special thanks to Jason Ashton at Mad Moose Media, our man Ruben Gonzalez at Rubik's Racing Products, and Daniel McDade at Dragon Punch RC. It's when we couldn't decide something, and even when we thought we had it dialed, we sent it to committee and realized we didn't even know anything to begin with. So yeah,
hey, speak for yourself.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, without those guys, and yeah, everyone's very excited for this real dirt surface, watered and raked, just like the old days. And we'll try to stay on task today with just the rules and classes, because we're going to have subsequent talks about the racing itself and the best car setups and recommended tires. All that's going to fall into place. Yeah. But like you said, Craig, the thesis is having fun, getting together with your buddies. And what's really going to be cool about this race is if you sign up as average Joe, you literally are going to get to race with the legends. Everyone's going to go through seeding and qualifying. You sign up for two-wheel drive buggy, Curtis Husting is going to be right next to you potentially. Ryan Mayfield might be to your right. Like, it's going to be really cool just paying an entry fee and just being able to get in there with those guys. And that isn't to belittle the way any other races were ever run. They're all special. Putting everyone in their own legends class is great, but this is just going to be something special about this race. Is literally just you don't know which legend is going to be seated next to you.
That is awesome. I think from the race we did recently, that was one of the things that the people said is, hey, I would love to race with the legends, right? So that's going to happen, right? Here we're going to have at least one Hall of Fame NASCAR person there.
Yeah,
what I'm hearing.
Oh, super! What's NASCAR?
Oh, that's where you go left, sometimes right.
Their steering wheel's on the wrong side of the car. Sorry, Craig.
Yeah.
So let me I just want to highlight the rules a little bit, because I know obviously globally there's no kind of set rules for this. Everybody's kind of got their own idea on what needs to happen, how it needs to go. So the fundamentals of the rules that we're running to are the iconic rules, which we run in the UK. John Weston kindly allowed us to use the blueprint for that. So most of the cars and the categories and stuff were already sorted. So we've laid them out differently, made them look pretty, presented them in a way that's clear and concise. So we've tried to really strip a rule segment back, so we won't be having hard tech. It's not going to be a kind of really rigorous kind of stringent rule, but the idea of having the different classes, I know this is quite a different concept to what you guys run in America with the plus 40s and then the different motor categories and all this kind of stuff. So we lump the cars together in their respective year groups, which basically allow them to be competitive within that year group. So it's quite simple, really. There are a few cars that's juggled around that basically, wouldn't be competitive in a higher year group. So with the decade of racing that these guys have done over in the UK. You know, they've been racing this for over a decade now, but these rules have evolved over this time to give us what we've got today. So it's a little bit different probably from what you guys are used to, but I think the blueprint works for me. Having done a few of the iconic races here, it's a good fun event. You know, there's four winners for the two-wheel drive, four winners for the four-wheel drive, two winners for the truck classes. So there's lots of trophies to fight for. It means that the cars are competitive against each other in their own field, and you get different, I guess, legends racing in different categories as well. You know, we've opened it up for the earlier year groups as well, which I think is really important to have them cars still running. I think for some people, it's more about that side than actually the newer cars that are more competitive. So we hope it works for you guys over there, and you enjoy it like we do here. You know, to see some really competitive racing with the right cars in the right classes. You know, and the basic foundations of the rules that run alongside that are just to basically minimize some of the stuff that we've had go on in the UK, you know, like with the ridiculous weights of the cars that, you know, back in the day would have only run 3 minutes to make them perform on the really high bite Astro tracks that we've had here. So that was one of the stipulations on the 50 grams, which we're open to suggestions. I think when we strip things back with the track and the surface, we won't need that kind of stuff. You know, the kind of cars will have to be tuned accordingly to the surface, and adding crazy amounts of weight and stuff like that won't be required. So that'll be negated as well. So I think it'll be fairly simple. We're going to have no hard tech. I think we want to kind of mark the chassis, which will be kind of a memorabilia sticker of some kind to just say we look at you know, we kind of just pass it basically. It's you know, we're relying on people doing the honorable thing as well with this in mind. So I think it's going to be fairly natural, fairly organic, really.
Here's what I know about the vintage community is they will police each other as well, right?
Yeah, of course.
Y'all don't, you know, you don't have to be narcs, but if you see something going on, you can pull one of us aside. You know, one of the things that I am committing to at this race is, you know, I'm going to be working. By the way, Mod's going to be here. This one's going to be broadcasted. We're excited to have them back for this event.
Yeah, super.
I've talked to Matt, and I'm really going to be doing my best to work the pits with a microphone, cameraman, and have conversations with y'all about your cars. You know, so that'll be cool. And I'll be checking your cars out too in the pits. So if you're trying anything silly, Dirk's going to get you. Just so y'all know. So, but yeah, thank you. I mean, you know, I've always wanted, in all honesty, to see how these rules worked here, right? You know, Eric Reichert started the Vintage Off-Road Nats. He's getting ready to do his 18th year, right? And, you know, there's a baseline rules, and then we've kind of built from them. And we have a committee in the U.S. that meets, and we talk about the rules and how we're going to do them. But this is something we've never done, right? And we've seen 500 car entries in the UK and 500 car entries in Australia. You know, so I think this is going to be good. You know, Sheriff Dirk. That's right, Andy. Play and find out. That's right.
Well, and before we go on, actually, a really important question did pop up in the chat from Chat Howard. No pun intended. Will the beer be cold? That's the primary concern. I can tell you what, baby, we're in Vegas, and if I have one responsibility, it'll be to make sure the cold beer is flowing. So I've got you covered right there.
Yeah, we're working on a special tent. I can't tell y'all what it is yet. So yeah, you never know what might happen in Vegas. So I know Michael's got some stuff up his sleeves, and I hear that somebody on here likes to party a little bit. So it's gonna be fun, man. I've only been to Vegas once, and that was for my 50th birthday, and it was also connected to to an RC event. It was the COTS drag race, and man, you know, I had a blast. But this is my folks right here. This is my community. All these folks in the vintage, you know, old school, started over a decade ago, and we've just continued to build community across the U.S. and across the world, right? So getting to be a part of this is something amazing, and to get to see Masami again. I haven't seen him since '89. I think it was our last when he came over here for the oh my goodness, the Winter Nats that year, Greg, when he was over.
Oh wow, yes.
So same. Here recently, I got to reconnect with Joel and Jay Halsey and all those, but not seeing Masami and Pavitas not getting to make it at the last minute. Getting to see those guys and having some of the newer folks there, like Mayfield. I'm curious to see what he can do with a 10 scale car still. I've called them all out, just so y'all know. So
it's gonna be good. So them modern boys with vintage cars, it's gonna be makes me a little worried now.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see Richard Saxton in Mayfield.
Goodness!
I don't know if that'll happen because I think Richard's running stadium truck, and I have a feeling Mayfield's going to be running buggy. But I'd like to get those A-scale guys on there and watch them push each other around a little bit because that's how Richard does. And,
I've seen them two battle so much in A-scale, right?
Yeah.
In the days, I haven't raced A-scale in probably 7 years, but back when I was going to all the A-scale events, seeing those two battle and, wow. I if Mayfield does not have a truck, we will get him a truck because I know he loves running truck classes. So I'd love to see him running truck for sure.
And he does, Mayfield, he's only like a generation behind us guys, really, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's been around a long time. He's still kicking it with the 8 scale stuff and doing really well. He's still quick with a 10 scale car. What was it, BC at the Worlds, and should have been higher. So, Mayfield's, he's kind of like just the next generation behind us. He's still a party boy as well. So, it'll be good to see Mayfield there. Obviously, hang with Pavitas and them guys, and just I think for me, I got back involved in the vintage side probably 5 years ago, maybe. I got invited down to the Iconic race that was here in the UK, and Jamie Booth invited me down. He said, just come down. He said, we can get you an entry if you want one. I said, no, because it was full. I said, I won't take anybody's entry away. Went down, had the weekend with the guys, just cruising the pits, getting to see guys that I hadn't seen for 20 years. And it was just fantastic. The atmosphere was relaxed. The racing on track was still serious, but literally as soon as you park your car up, you go to Marshall, forgotten about, you're on to the next thing. And the fact that the pits are mixed and every brand is pit next to every other brand, it was just it's just, so for me, and just looking at some of the old stuff, having as you've done and as the Australians have done, the concourses and things like that, which just kind of sets the tone for the race, really gets everybody out on track, picking cars up, having a good look at them, breaks the ice with everybody, looking at some of the cool, old, funky stuff, and just gets people talking right from the get-go. So it sets the tone right from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So, and then of course Vegas with the social side is going to be pretty incredible, and then the banquet and all that kind of good stuff.
Oh my goodness!
Yes,
the banquet. I know we're going to talk about a lot of that down the road too.
Yeah.
Jerry, this is the best idea I've ever heard. Jerry Walter, DUI class, you must blow over a .08 each qualifier and main to race. Breathalyzer test when you walk up the stand.
We've done shot races before. It's pretty okay. It's pretty okay at times. So I'm not sure. I kind of, it's making me a little bit nervous. All this is.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, Michael. We keep cutting you off. I know we're here to talk about rules, and I knew this was going to happen when Craig and I got on the microphone together. So
hey, it's easy, and actually, so I'm seeing Richard Contu's comment pop up right now, asking if there's going to be a concourse or display of vintage RC cars. I'm trying to pull it together. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of, essentially museum pieces at my disposal. You go to Brad Geck, who's, one of our strong media guys and photographer. You go behind his desk and it's like a who's who of crazy photo cars. He has the original graphite car. He has things that Cliff Lett and Curtis Husting have given him. Anyways, it shouldn't be too hard to assemble basically a museum of some of the most influential cars that we've seen in magazines and heard about. So yeah, we are trying to pull that together and bring it to the race, as long as there's size and time and a nice velvet rope to put them all behind. Because
right, yeah, for sure, right.
Heavy hitters there.
Ooh, yeah.
Shifting gears.
I mean, one of the questions that came up to me early on as we were doing the rules is the vintage community is big about bringing their Concours cars out, right? So there's that question of, do they have to run it to put it in Concours?
Usually, I mean, I'd say yes, but I think it'd have to be run. But if they've got some super cool cars that they want to bring them out anyway, we'll all admire them and put them down and put them on a separate table or whatever. I mean, I love seeing all that kind of stuff. The detail and the lengths that people go to build these cars and present them is just like, it's second to none. I mean, you can have a pretty looking modern car with all black stuff and polished edges and things like that, but it's just not the same. This kind of like, and also like weirdly, like the box art stuff now to me is really quite appealing.
Yeah.
When it's box art and cool and
yeah.
So yeah, I mean that stuff is just like, I've never been into it. Anybody that run box art colors in the past would be like, you kind of like, you're just a newbie or you don't know what you're doing. But as you get older, you start to appreciate a good build and something that's like kind of fun and quirky and just like a little bit unusual really as well. It's like, if I kind of look down the rows for Concours cars and stuff like that, it's all the really bizarre stuff that I kind of go, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. That would be my top 3 there. And it's always the most unusual cars and presentation, patina style body shells and sprayed in dirt, just some real detailed stuff, which is just unbelievable to race and to witness, and then obviously see it racing around the track as well, when you've got moving parts and drivers that move and all sorts of crazy stuff. So it's that for me is kind of one of the nice sides of it.
Yeah, we got a good question here from Adam Martinez. Adam, one thing about this is in an arena area. There are seats lining the entire area. So if you have wife and kids that want to sit up in the stands and watch, that's not going to be an issue.
And we're also opening up. So with your driver entry, just one per driver, you get your complimentary ticket for the banquet. We are actually going to open up a separate way to just pay for extra banquet tickets. So wife, kids, your buddies, if you want them to be a part of that really cool banquet event, you could just pay for that individually, and they're welcome to be included in that as well. So
yeah, what's that going to cost us?
$50. And honestly, when you consider they have to set up an area and it's going to be a pretty legit buffet, like, I mean, that can't be too much more than cost for it. So not too bad. So yeah, as a driver, you'll get yours comped and you can bring everyone else along, and friends, family can hang out in the pits. We're going to see how much additional seating is available. But potentially a fair amount of seating will be available. Some concession areas there as well. So to answer your question, you'll be able to do that.
So concessions are available during the event.
What was that?
Concessions are available during the event.
It depends. Still working on that. Right. Yeah. Okay. If there's enough spectators to warrant them opening that up, we'll do it. If not, we'll pivot and have food trucks and have other options for people to be able to eat and drink and stuff.
All right. Somebody being in food, I kind of get it. The right amount of people, but these RC guys like to eat as well. All righty, let's see here. I'm seeing a lot of unique stuff pop up. I mean, we can look at some of these questions. My RC10 4-wheel drive will have an Andy's truck conversion, but we'll bring it for show and shine. Nice, Corey. That's awesome that you're doing like that. Speaking of trucks, one thing we did do is we added, to the early truck years, the RC10 truck conversions, right, from the 80s. Because we were running those in the 80s in the truck classes against the things like the Midnight Pumpkins and the Blackfoots and the So we were using wheels from like the Blackfoots and stuff to put on those conversions and stuff back in the day. So you will have the opportunity to run those if you bring them. We want to keep it, from the 80s with the short arms and, the kits that were available, like the Andes kits and the JG kits and those type of things. But I think that's adding a pretty cool element as well. So
let's
this is one that comes up a lot, Michael.
Yeah. So the banquet ticket is per driver, not per class. So if you're coming and running 3 classes, there's just one banquet ticket. It's not transferable to anybody else. And the reason for that is it doesn't have anything to do with your entry fee. The deal that we worked out with the Orleans was it was scaled on the number of drivers, not the number of entries. So that's why it works out that way. But we told them, hey, people are going to bring friends and family. We want people to be able to bring guests. So that's how we arrived at basically just paying the $50 that someone pays to be able to attend that banquet for their friends or family. That goes straight to the Orleans. So that's how that worked out.
Yeah, and y'all, I know, there's been a lot of conversation in the background about entry fees and how high they are, and this, let me put it to you this way: this is going to be a world's class event, right? And they're doing a lot of extra. I can tell you that renting this facilities was not cheap. This is truly going to be a lifetime deal. And I'm gonna be honest, we raised the bar very, very high when we did the Clash. And I honestly feel with all the things that are put together, this is going to top it just for the fact that it's on the Lumi Dirt. It's in an event that's just being designed and raced after the 1985 iconic first World's Championship race, and Les Drescher and me can get in a little argument match about that. But we want to make it about everything about it. And don't get me wrong, the Clash was based off the 93 World's layout. But it's going to be epic. And, a World's class event, you're paying, $150 to $200 for an entry fee. And I just, I want you guys to understand that what's going to happen here is something special. And if you miss it, I can promise you're going to regret it. Just on those that waited too late to sign up for the Clash, and we ended up cutting it off. So I would tell y'all, if you have not, get signed up, bring your family. Let's have some fun. Let's plan a trip to Vegas and enjoy ourselves and, do what we do at these vintage events. And that's have fun with each other and, build community and family. So, if you don't like the price of entry, you don't have to come, but you're going to regret it. So, but that's the reason, it's a little different than what we did in Indiana.
To me, it's apples and oranges. I attended the Clash in Indiana, and it was amazing. And from the outside looking in, what we won't be able to capture with this race was a lot of the same community will be at our vintage race, but it's not going to have that reunion feel where you're getting to people together that have maybe never met, but they've been buddies online for the last decade, or people that raced together 15, 20 years ago and they haven't seen each other yet. Your event really captured bringing all those people together as a reunion. So our event won't have that, but it'll have other stuff. So to me, it's apples and oranges. It's not worth comparing the two because they both had something different to offer, both objectively and socially. So it'll be a lot of the same people. It's just going to have a different feel because it's a different venue, and everyone's seen each other more than once in the last 20 years already. So there's just going to be other stuff to focus on, right?
And I think that's the beauty of the vintage side, though, that we can be a little bit more flexible and, give different things. So, the Americans now will get to experience a different kind of set of rules that they've not probably raced to, and hopefully experience them, and whether they like it or not, it's just something different. So, presenting in that hall as well, I think it's going to be standout. So it feels like it's going to be a good rocking race already to me.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So,
but here's the deal: we got to have the community there to make it what it needs to be, right?
yep,
So
absolutely.
I will tell y'all, we want to see you there. Those that have been events with me, we're going to have a blast. We're going to have a good time. And I can tell you with Craig coming and Michael, those two add a whole new element to fun as well. So it's gonna be a blast for sure. Corey, to answer your question, the Vegas edition RC10, when will it be released? I know, as far as I know, we were still working on finalizing what exactly that was going to be. And because we want it to be something truly, truly special, right? So I'm not sure when we're at. I don't know. It just made me realize I have not signed up yet. So I probably need to do that so I don't miss out on one of these cool cars. Have you yet, Craig? You signed up?
I've put my name down, so I'm not sure if my name's on the list as of yet, but yes, 89 to 93 classes for both 2 and 4-wheel drive for me.
Sweet.
So,
Michael, what are you going to run? Michael, what classes are you running?
Undecided. So I think I might run the early buggy class. I was going to be in the 89, 90, 93 class, but I realized it was just going to be stacked. So I'm thinking about bringing out the old 6 gear, trying to modify it as much as I can while still staying in our loose rules and sticking early. Andy Snow and I he and I chat sometimes when I'm on my long drives home from HQ, and he was giving me some ideas about a 3-gear MIP gearbox that I can get in there. I'm like, it'll still conform and everything. So I don't want to give out too much, and I don't want to start controversy, but those are the gears that are turning in my head. No pun intended.
Bending the rules already.
Well,
jeez, it's like it's a racer's prerogative, isn't it? Just that gray area that sits there. That's where everybody is.
Hey, I can amend the rules with a keystroke right here. So I'll
saw that, right?
You say the 89 to 93 class is going to be competitive. Maybe I need to drop down a year or two then.
Yeah, it will be the most competitive class for sure.
I want to be coming home. It is here. I mean, it's always the most competitive one as well. So it's like
that later class too with those B3s and XXs is going to be pretty impressive also.
That's always I enjoy, even though I race the other one, I always really enjoyed that one. But I mean, going back to I call it the goofy stuff, which is really disrespectful, but the old stuff that's like fun, let's call it the fun stuff, to watch them cars go around. And we have a couple of guys that race them here, and there's like a group of 4 or 5 that'll run like hot shots and things like that, and it's just brilliant to see them wheel to wheel racing, having a good laugh, and basically just any one of 5 guys can win.
Should I bring the FX10?
Woo.
Oh yes,
this might make it around like 3 times before it breaks.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized how dusty it is.
What have I got here? Oh, this is a good one. This is my 91 stealth car from Detroit.
So that is the actual one.
Yeah, so it's a little bit broken on the steering. What do you call them? Bell crank here.
Yeah.
But it's got a crack in it. But yes, this is the actual one that I ran. So I'd love to rip this around again, but I'm just it's too precious to me.
Yeah, you should take out an insurance policy on that thing. Like I have a policy on my wife's engagement ring. I'd have one on that because I'm sure it's worth about as much.
And an original, I think even Curtis is trying to get hold of one of these.
Is that an RPM or is that one of the OGs?
Yeah, it's
OGs. Holy cow.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's like Machine Delrin. So I mean, this thing silky, smooth as butter. Still, it came out the car, never got touched. It's the V2 version, which has the raised bottom. The padded slipper rather than the top hats. But I could drop this into the stealth car, and it really would be kind of the real deal. mind
So
you saying
That
that.
would be amazing.
So does anyone mind if I shift gears a little bit? And,
Oh
and
yeah,
try to-
100%. Let's talk about rules.
Try to. All right. So let's go with the low hanging fruit here, and that's motor limits. And Craig's going to have some good insight to this. So the outlay is, so there's no brushed motor limit. For brushless, it's 13.5 turn for 2-wheel drive and 10.5 turn for 4-wheel drive. I know typically we see a lot of 17.5 limits with racing around here, but Craig has some insight about why he doesn't think these are over motoring any of these vehicles.
Oh, don't shoot me now. No, it's. I mean, it's like if guys want to run slower, it's fine. Detune the car, detune the motor.
Yeah.
It's it's gonna be a loose surface that I'm guessing 10.5 probably will be overpowered. I don't know it. Or we turn the timing down, run blinky. It's tunable through all extremes. But yes, I get that the Americans tend to run more in the stock class races, let's call it 17s, 21s. I don't think you go much higher than that, do you? Do you run the 23s as well?
No, there's not many 23s. I think there might be a 25.5 class coming out, maybe for the for the sportsmen or the rookies or novice.
And I get it, and I don't, I don't want to kind of alienate them guys. It just, with the range of guys that we've got coming, I think you can choose your power. If you've got 10.5 or 13.5 in the relevant classes that you need, that you're going to be able to kind of get the speed that you're capable of controlling. Some people, I mean, we had it here where we actually put restrictions on 10.5 because and that was kind of met with a little bit of controversy at the time, because people just wanted to actually go the other way and run their old stuff. If they had a 5.5 or a 4.5 in the box, they were putting these motors in their vintage cars, and seeing them cars go that fast was brilliant. But it did need to be kind of controlled a little bit. So let's just streamline the rules, made it really simple. We felt like everybody had them kind of wine motors kicking around, so we wanted to try and simplify it. And I hope people kind of understand that that's the reason for doing it. It's not that we want people to be out of control, and it's just, I mean, people are going to hate me for saying this, but I mean, if you're running a top fueled 17.5 and doing everything in your power to make that thing as fast as possible by charging at super rates and discharging and heating the batteries and titanium lay shafts and titanium screws to make it as light and fast as possible, it kind of, I know it's a part of motor racing, it's what guys have gotten into, but I just simplify, just put something that's faster, and you don't need to do all that stuff. It's for me.
Here's my motto, Craig. You can always turn it down, but it's very hard to turn it up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a wide range of abilities there, and I think 10.5s is plenty fast enough. I've had races in the UK where 10.5 is too slow.
Yeah.
In all honesty, but that's me. I don't race much anymore, but that's me, an old fart, struggling, to get more speed out of a 10.5. So we kind of just, I mean, we bumped up the 2-wheel drive class to 13.5 because I originally did say 10.5 across the board. Just makes it really simple. Everybody understands it. We know where we're at. People won't be cheating to go faster. They'll be detuning to go slower, which is, another facet of tuning the cars for the suitability of the tracks.
Jesse's just upset because he can barely drive a 17.5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get where he's coming from. But
Is
you'll be
that-
all right,
yeah.
Jesse. We'll get you some training wheels, and you'll be all right.
We can detune it for him.
There too.
We can detune it for him. So
yeah, we can detune. We can detune the hell out of it.
4-cell NiCad. It's all manageable. So
that was there, Jesse.
That was the other thing that popped up as well. I don't know if you were going to bring it up, Michael. Was the NiCad. So all lipos, big, small, that fit in the cars, we allow, and NiCads as well. I mean, if anybody wants to bring NiCads and run NiCads, then I will personally go over and shake their hands. Anybody that wants to run, you think some will come?
My boy Joshua right here.
He runs
He's a brush shit up
NICADs.
in the lathe. It's fun. He loves running NICADs and brush. We'll see if he does it.
Oh,
He's
super!
very.
Yeah.
You know what?
He
Let's
loves
see
true
what
vintage.
Bob Stormer brings. I have a feeling him and his if you want NICADs and nickel metal hydride cells, that dude's got a basement full of them.
Yes.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit beforehand about cell limits on subsea because it wasn't addressed in the rules. We think probably 7 cell is what will make its way into the next revision of rules, just so we could say we addressed it. But if we didn't do that, I'd see Bob showing up with like a 20 cell pack and his little with his radio voice and a chuckle and smoking a ball, because you never know.
That's super cool, because I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw a pack of NICADs in a race car. It's the guys here attempted to start running brushless stuff, but getting the parts and the brushes and all that kind of stuff, and the comms were wearing down to the point where they couldn't cut them anymore. But they just went ease of. I mean, for me, like the brushless side of things is what's brought the social side on, because you're not balancing batteries anymore and doing all this crazy stuff. You're not cutting brushes and remagnetizing the magnets and cutting brushes and new brushes every time. So for me, that's really like helped the kind of social side of the racing. So knowing that you can run a motor for years is just a nice feeling.
It's so much easier.
Yeah,
I mean, we got a lot of comments coming in. One other thing I want to do is kind of do a quick oversight overview to kind of show y'all where to find the rules. You're definitely welcome to reach out to me, Michael, reach out to the site to get answers. Craig, I'm sure. It's
now we've got the pieces together. Obviously, the main bulk of the information is on the Facebook page at the minute, as Michael said earlier, if you missed that. But we will be having a PDF, so that'll be circulating all the community, all the vintage communities and old school channels, etc. So it's gonna be out there. It's
gonna
starting
be there
now. Yeah.
And we're gonna be talking about it weekly. This question's come up. Mr. Chris Von Air, basically the regular class champion of the Vintage Clash and Old School RC Reunion. Some people have asked, will we have backup parts for sale? Will there be any merchandise for sale from AE at the event?
Michael will answer this, but they're working on it now. So the long and short of it is, yes, we are working on having that happen, so people can get parts, tires, all that kind of good stuff.
Well, of course, this guy wants AE part support because he'll be hitting pipes and everything else while he's there. But yes, that is being worked on. I wanted to give y'all a little crash course in where to find some things, right? So let's talk about Facebook real quick. So we've kind of got everything driven through Team Associated Vintage Off-Road Championships page, right? If you type that in, it's going to come up. Trust me. It's going to be tagged in pretty much everything we do. You're going to be able to find the event. All right. Typically, when you go in here, though, it's going to show up on the about, unless we fix this today, Michael, I'm not sure. But you can go in, and there's going to be some things under the about, like where the event is and a few other things. But the main thing you want to do here is click on the discussion button here, okay? And that's going to take you to a lot of the details. For example, we got the rules up in here. Michael, did these get updated today? Do you know?
Today, yeah. What you're looking at is up to the date.
Okay, so these are up-to-date rules. So you can find the rules. You can find the classes very nicely laid out. Great design work, by the way, Michael. Looks really good. What are the rules for each class? You got the video here, the sneak peek of the Orleans. If y'all have not seen this yet, just gorgeous. So you can kind of see the event space. You see all the seating and stuff on each side of it. I think the beer tent will be somewhere in here. So really, really, really cool stuff on this page. where you can find, different things. I want to, also show y'all, if you go to the Team Associated page, right? Still getting stuff downloaded on here. Not only do you see beautiful re-release cars, but if you click into the vintage series here, all right, I'm going to show y'all where you go to register. Okay. You get in here and you can click on the page. Well, that's the Cliff Lett truck.
There you go.
So you get in here, you click on the main page, the main header, and you scroll down, and it's going to show you some of the rules. And then you go here and click for details and sign up. And Michael, hopefully we've got all this stuff updated with that match the rules as well. I don't know if that's been done, but we might want to double cross check that. I'm sure maybe it has.
Yeah, we're gonna get a PDF of the rules and classes in here right now, so so you don't need to navigate through Facebook. For most of us use Facebook, but some people don't. So we are gonna get them posted there, kind of static.
What I'm saying, just making sure these do match what our most recent rules say.
That's right.
Which I'm sure they probably do.
They do.
But you can click here. There's also a link here. Watch this. It's going to be like magic. Watch. Click this. Click here for rules on Facebook event page. And you click here. It takes you back where I was, and bam, you got your rules right there. Okay. So everything's linked together. It's a little different when you got a big company doing a race. There's a lot more things that connect, right? And as many times as we went through and getting feedback on these rules and changing things, it's a living document, right? So stay tuned. If you have questions, let us know. Trust me when I say everybody is working hard to make sure that we have a great event for you all. So I'm going to leave it to closing comments because we're about 5 minutes out. I don't really want to go over. I want to keep these right at an hour. We could talk all night long, right? For sure. But I think it's somebody's nappy time and my belly's growling. So any closing words for you, Mr. Drescher?
No, I just want to say I look forward to meeting the guys that come along, and I'm really looking forward to the event. I can't wait for it to kick off and get started, and I'm going to enjoy all this kind of like build up and momentum that we're going to start embarking on from now, really. So yeah, get yourself signed up, and we'll see you in Vegas.
Yeah, baby. Adam Rails, man. Hopefully he's coming to Vegas. How about you, Mr. Michael?
I just wanted to say we're really grateful and excited to be partnering with Old School RC and with you, Dirk, for promoting this race. You've set the bar incredibly high, and you've admitted probably too high for your own good. Well, now this is why, because we're going to hold you to it. Now we're privileged to be working with you on this, and just this vintage community that you've helped cultivate, and these folks that I've gotten really close with over just the last few months. Honestly, it's the best. It's the most kind of included I've felt in an RC niche probably in my whole life. So I think this community is great, and I'm happy to be part of it. Happy to be partnering with you and just being able to get to know everyone a little bit more, and just counting down the days till October till we can all hang out.
And man, thank you, Michael, for that. And just so y'all know, I've got really close friends at Team Associated, and they have been for years, and it's a memory that has always been stuck in my mind. And I want this race to be a huge success. And when somebody said, "Hey, the event went great. Do you think you could ever top it?" I said, "Challenge accepted," right? But those that have been reaching out lately, I'm going to be honest, I am freaking buried, probably the most buried I have been at a job in a very, very long time. And I am, working 12 to 13-hour days trying to help with this as well. And if I don't respond quickly, it's not because I don't still love y'all. I am just, every second in the day right now is important. And, in the meantime, also still trying to spend time with my beautiful wife that supports my hobby. And just so everybody knows, Christy will be there with me at the race, there to be Christy. and to help and support you guys as much as she can also. But we are looking forward to this. I mean, this is, man, been saying for a long time we should hold a vintage race in Vegas, right? And here it is. So, please don't miss this event. Yes, I am the best lunch lady. You're right, Chris. I feel like a lunch lady sometimes. But that's why I give you the biggest, deepest hugs ever, Chris. Will this live streamed? Just to answer a few questions that are up here. Yes, it will be live streamed with mod live video. So you will be able to watch it live as well, but we hope you come watch it live with us. So yeah, any other questions? I think I've lost control of my scroll. I think because you're scrolling. Can't wait. Pit secure. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what you mean by pit secure, Andy. There'll be, just like any vintage race, there'll be people that are patrolling. I know that's a very good point, Michael. There's a lot of expensive equipment, these vintage cars. We do need to make sure that people aren't, walking out with stuff. And that's one of the reasons we kind of tightened it down. It's kind of one of them deals, Andy, where we're going to have to, everybody's going to have to keep an eye on what's going on around them. And Chris, I don't know about pit assignments yet on how we're going to handle that. That's something that we will work through as a group for sure. Unless you have an answer for that, Michael.
No, I don't. I was just going to address. I think you're going to feel as comfortable leaving your equipment here as you will anywhere else. There's not going to be paid entry for the venue, but still, someone needs to walk through a door, and there's going to be a person there.
Right.
So, I mean, it's probably as far as venues go, it's a state-of-the-art facility that's used to handling large volumes of people and funneling them in, right? So I think you'll feel comfortable. It's a place where you'll be able to leave your stuff overnight, and
okay.
It's kind of the Fort Knox of RC tracks. We're all used to kind of tracks in the middle of nowhere or in an industrial park. This is going to be a little bit more planned than that. So I think you'll feel comfortable in that regard.
All right, guys, stay tuned. These videos, of course, I've got them posted on almost every vintage site. It'll, of course, be posted on the Team Associated site as well. It will also go to the Team Associated YouTube page, all right, and probably the Old School RC YouTube page as well. So plenty of opportunities to go back and watch these, listen, tell your friends, share with your enemies. Just help us get the word out there. We need all y'all to make this race a success. There's going to be so many cool things going on. So don't miss it. If you can't make it for some reason, I'll be able to help you with emotional support after you missed it. I feel the JJ Edition A488 class would be an unfair advantage. Well, Corey, the car did win what championship was it? The 87 championship. So we have allowed it. It has run against other cars. RC10 runs just fine with it. I personally don't feel I have my 87. Well, I have my 87 Ultima sitting here somewhere that I had over at the 87 Worlds and ran for many years after. And it's not really any different in a lot of ways than what we had those cars tuned to go in back in those days as well. So what I will tell y'all is come out, have fun. The best driver, I don't care what car they're driving, is going to win. So just understand that. Just, don't overthink it. Come have fun. No folding chairs for turn marshals. That is very true. If there are folding chairs for turn marshals, I will leave. My finger's healing well, though, guys. Look, it's almost back.
Look at that. Half a finger's healing well.
Yeah, it's almost back. Chris Von Ayer getting in his shots. Wait till I see him. He picks on me like I pick on my boy Jesse. So if y'all have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Visit the site. Drop your questions. Drop your questions right here. You can come in and you can add a post, right? You can ask a question. You can I don't know. Is there a way to leave comments to this event? I'm pretty sure there is. Let me see here. Not sure on that one, but you'll get your answers. Just ask us. And like I said, we're going to be on every week, right? Somebody. And just tune in. Tune in. Let's make this race great. Y'all have a good day and enjoy the great video that we've prepared for you at the end here. See y'all.
Thanks, Dirk.
Deuces. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Michael.
Get you some sleep, buddy.
Over and out.
Over and out.